For some of you, this is going to be a review with a little bit of new information. For some of you, you've never heard any of this. So you heard part of it last week. But we're going to go to Genesis 15. And we're going to talk about covenant. I have some notes that I am going to look at because there is some stuff that's information that I don't necessarily dwell on every day. So it's not like, I want to make sure, do I know? And if somebody asks me, yeah, but I want to make sure you get it. Okay, so I do have notes. Sometime later, the word of Adonai, what happened? What happened? Sodom and the people were taken, right? Not Sodom and Gomorrah, the fire. We're not there yet, but they were captive, right? The kings came, took them captive. Abram went with them. He went after them with 300 and how many?
18
men of his household. Without just went, got them, came back down through the heartland, right? Met Melchizedek. Okay. So sometime later, not immediately, the word of Adonai came to Abram, his name's still Abram, in a vision. Don't be afraid. I'm your protector. Your reward will be very great. And Abram replied, Adonai God, what good will your gifts be to me if I continue childless and Eleazar from Damascus inherits my possession? Where did Hagar come from?
Egypt?
Yeah. So they acquired people in Egypt. Where did Eleazar come from? Damascus. He acquired people. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, he's wealthy. He's not some poor, I just love TV programs that show them dusty and dirty and ugly. And I'm like, it says she was beautiful. Why are you, could you at least get it close? But the word of Adonai came to him. This man will not be your heir. No, your heir will be a child from your own body. Right, because Eleazar is not from his, right? Okay. No talking, baby. Then he brought him outside and he said, look up at the sky and count the stars. I know we did this a couple weeks ago. If you can count them, your descendants will be that many. He believed in Adonai and he credited it to him as righteousness. Hold on to that. Why is Abram credited righteousness?
Because he believed.
Uh-huh. Because he believed.
What God told him.
In Adonai. No. He didn't believe what God told him. He believed in Yad He Vav He. He is who he says he is. You see what I'm saying? We gotta go deep. Go to the core, go to the root. He believes in Yad He Vav He. Therefore, he believes in what he says. But he believes in Yad He Vav He. He believes in Adonai. And right now we say, arise, O Lord, and protect the apple of your eye. Okay. Yeah, more rockets. So hold on to that, okay? And he credited it to him as righteousness. Then he said to him, I am Adonai. What's the very first commandment? I am. I am Yad He Vav He who brought you out of Ur Kasdim to give you this land as your possession. Does he own it?
Not yet.
Yep. Yes, but not yet, right? It's his, but not yet. Already, but not yet. He replied, Adonai God, how am I to know that I will possess it? Is this doubt? He just said he believed. No, you see, and I've heard this taught so many times that, oh God, he believed him here, but he doubted him here. I don't read that. I do not read that. No, because you go in Hebrews, and is there anywhere where God ever says that he doubted? Is there anywhere where no, he says, and he believed. Okay. How will I know that I will possess it? And he answered him, bring me a 3-year-old cow. That's not a red heifer, it's a heifer. There's a difference, okay? It's a heifer, not a red heifer. A 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a dove, and a young pigeon. So let's stop there. Why 3? And why 3 years old? 3's a good number, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's the number of God, right?
Mm-hmm. Why 3 years old? Because they're vigorous. They have great potential. They're at their prime. They're at their prime. A 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old goat. This is their prime. This is when they produce. This is at their best. And they're not marred by old age and trigger finger and deficit. They haven't been marked negatively. You see what I'm saying? Okay. They're vital. They're producers. And he brought them. He brought him all of these, and he cut the animals in two and placed the pieces opposite each other. Someplace like this is Israel. This is Israel. This is Israel. Of course, a little more modern. I know I got the electricity in there, sorry. This is Israel. This is Israel. And he looked at the stars, looked at the sand. Hello. Right? Your descendants. Now we're talking about the land. He brings in the animals. This is Israel. Also hilly. That's actually the Jordan Rift Valley. And he cuts the animals. It's a bloody mess. It's not, it's not a butcher shop. It's not a... It is, that's just what it is. And he placed the pieces opposite each other, but he didn't cut the birds in half. See? One bird here, one bird here. What birds?
A dove and a young pigeon.
Why a dove and a young pigeon? That's the poor man's offering. A heifer, probably a rich man's offering. But what is a heifer for later? Purity. If you touch a corpse, something dead, the ashes of a red heifer bring purity. We walk amongst the dead. Whoops. Do we walk amongst the dead? Yeah, you go outside your door. Are you walking amongst the dead? There's a lot of dead people out there. They might be breathing, they might eat, they might talk to you, they might reason, but they're dead.
Yeah.
So what keeps you pure? Okay. And then we have a female goat. So if we continue along the lines of offerings and sacrifices, what is a goat? Where do we see a goat in Leviticus?
Oh, the scapegoat and the one that you put
And
your...
Azael, Yom Kippur. It's for sin, right? Day of Atonement. So we have purification and we have atonement. And then we have a 3-year-old ram. So the first two are female, right? The first two are female. The third one is male. A ram. We're going to see it here really soon. Like in the next 30, 40, 45 years after this, you're going to see the first reason for the ram. It's a substitution.
It's for what?
Substitution.
Okay.
In my place. Right? Isaac was substituted. A ram. And then the dove and the pigeon. The poor man's offering. He brought all these, cut the animals in two, placed them opposite each other, but he didn't cut the birds in half. And birds of prey swooped down on the carcasses, but Abram drove them away. Can you see this? How old is he? And he's, right? Because it's not just enough to bring your offering. You need to guard your offering. His offering hadn't been accepted yet. He brings his offering and he guards it. Because you can bring an offering and the enemy can still try to kill, steal, and destroy. And the birds of prey swooped down in to take the offering, but it wasn't theirs. It was for God. God had asked for it, and Abraham in obedience brought it, right? It's our job to protect that offering, to make sure it gets to where it's going, to bring it, to see it all the way through to completion, not just hand off or, okay, I've done my job. See what I'm saying? He's all in. He's involved. Okay. Because the process isn't done. But Abram drove them away. And as the sun was about to set, a deep sleep fell on Abram. Where's the last time you see a deep sleep? Or the first time you see a deep sleep? Adam. Okay? So there's a deep sleep, man. You know, he was shoving off the birds of prey, but now nighttime's coming. The offering's still laying here. And I'm sure it doesn't smell very good. And it's a mess. Right? And he falls asleep. And horror. The word is terror, dread, fearfulness. God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but that's what fell on him. Okay? And it came over him. And great darkness. Where do we see great darkness? It's coming several generations from now. Tell me y'all heard that. Kumad and I, you heard it. See, she heard it. She's got my ears. Kumad and I, arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered, and let those that hate you flee from before you. Great darkness comes over Egypt. So dark that you can feel it. Okay. Adonai said to Abram, know this for certain. So he's talking to him in this terror when he's in a deep sleep. Know this for certain. Your descendants will be foreigners in a land that is not theirs. They will be slaves and held in oppression there for 400 years. But I will also judge that nation, that one that makes them slaves. Afterwards, they will leave with many possessions. I'm going to stop right there. So while he's in this sleep, while he's under dread and terror, why? Because what's going to happen in the next 400 years is dreadful and terror, and it's darkness. It's not light. And he says what happens to them, that nation that becomes their masters, that puts them in slavery. Okay, they're not slaves for 400 years. Only the last 230 or 200 and something, okay? The first, they're wandering around, not possessing in a foreign land, Canaan, okay? But the total amount of time, from the time God gives us to the time Moshe brings them out, is 430 years, okay? Total time. And at the end of their time, they're slaves, just like God says, okay? All right, he's not saying you're going to be slaves for 400 years, all right? It says, know for certain your descendants will be foreigners in a land that is not theirs. Is Abram a foreigner here? He is. This isn't his land. This isn't where he was from. This isn't where he came from. This is where God told him to go. This is the land God's going to give him. But he's a foreigner here. Okay? And so is Isaac. And so is Jacob. And so are the 12 tribes. Until Moshe comes. And until Joshua leads them in. Then it's theirs. Okay? All right. And they will be slaves and oppressed for 400 years. But I will also judge that nation, the one that makes them slaves, and afterwards they will leave with many possessions. We're going to find that to be true, right? As for you, you will join, who is he talking? He's talking to Abram. You will join your ancestors in peace and be buried in a good old age. Only in the fourth generation, so a fourth generation sounds like a generation's 100 years in this particular case. No talking, Missy. Will your descendants come back here? Because only then will the Emori be ripe for punishment. I don't know that anyone's ever talked about that. So why are you going into captivity, and why is it 400 years? Because you didn't believe me, Abram, because you had faith here, but you didn't have faith here. So I'm going to put you into bondage, and I'm going to put you over here, and you're going to be things until your punishment is complete, and then I'm going to bring you out. That's not what it says. It says what? Until the what?
Maury.
Emori.
Right.
I want to read it to you in a different version, okay? Then in the fourth generation, they will return here for the iniquity, the sin, the punishment of the Amorite is not complete. Okay, it reads a little differently. What do we read here? It says, Amori be ripe for punishment. And so they'll be ready. Then the punishment for their iniquity, the punishment for their bad deeds, their sin, okay? It still comes to the same conclusion, but the wordings are a little different. The interpretation, the choice of translation is different. Okay? So that's why sometimes it's good to look at root words. Okay? Because the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. That one speaks more to me than right for punishment. Because it tells me why. Because of their iniquity, because of their sin. And they're not ready for they haven't crossed that line far enough yet for me to wipe them out. See, God has a point. He has a line. He has a thing that says here and no further. Okay, now my judgment comes. That's Revelation. Okay? Days of Noah. That was it. This was my point. Okay? God has a point. And he has a place and he has a marker. Definitions of a covenant. Okay, so last week I touched base just a little bit. Covenants, now we sign contracts. Okay, covenant used to be my word, right? My word. Or a handshake, right? And then it became a signature. And now none of that even matters anymore because you got lawyers to get you out of everything. And even that, forget it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's lawlessness. There's no standard. Okay, people don't understand what covenant means anymore. Covenant used to be a vow. So when you do marriage, we now have signed the contract, but it used to be, it was a vow. It was only spoken. It was a spoken vow, and that what you spoke is considered a vow. Scripture is very clear about not making a rash vow. Because what you say, you better do. What you say is going to come to pass. Forget this name it, claim it. Oh, don't know. Why are you naming it? I said I'm going to do. I said I'm going to do. I am. That doesn't rule, right? I can identify a part of me. I can identify a sickness. I can identify something. That doesn't mean that, I'm bound by that. It's called truth. Okay, so, think about this. Used to be a handshake, right? I wonder where they got the handshake. I'm going to show you. Then it became writing. It became writing. But here we don't see any writing, do we? Do you see any writing here? No?
I see blood.
You see blood. In letters of crimson, God wrote his love on a hillside so long, long ago. For you and for me, Jesus died, and love's greatest story was told. I love you. I love you. That's what Calvary said. God wrote his love with the same hands that suffered and bled, giving all that he had to give, a message so easily read. I love you, I love you. That's what Calvary said. I love you, I love you, I love you. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus. I love you, I love you. That's what Calvary said. I love you, I love you, I love you, written in red. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with, and the Word was, and the Word became flesh. So maybe it wasn't written in letters on paper or stone at that moment, but it was written in red. It was written with words and deeds. It's a contract. It's a contract. So here's what happens. 2 or more men, women, come into agreement and make what's called a contract, a covenant. We call it a contract. It's really a covenant. Okay, so, but if I say contract or I say covenant, it's the same in this context. All right? Remember I said last week they're not equals. You can't have equals. Don't get me wrong, you can have equals. But typically, someone with less power, less resources, will align themselves with someone greater. And the someone greater keeps accumulating. And when you accumulate those with lesser, you are greater. Right? And each brings different skills, talents, resources. Okay? So that usually makes the one with the greater authority, the one with the greater, a little wiser, a little more knowledgeable, has a little more oomph, right? People are a little more intimidated by. Okay. Every exchange and every ceremony of covenant at this particular time in here, and still in Middle Eastern, some of these things are still done, okay? There's an exchange of garments. Do we get new garments? We do.
Yes.
We also wear armor. He's given us armor. Okay? And we will have new garments. Okay? Where's the first garments that were exchanged?
Eden, Garden of Eden.
No, not in the garden. Outside the garden. But yeah. Abba provided garments. He exchanged their makeshift, right, fig leaf inadequate garments for something a little more substantial, right?
After he shed the blood.
After he shed the blood. There's a covenant there. Okay, there's a covenant there. Okay. Belts are typically exchanged. I think I mentioned that last week. Belts, because a belt typically holds a piece of warfare, okay, a weapon, and that weapon is provided by the stronger, okay. You see this with David and Jonathan. Read David and Jonathan, okay. There's oftentimes an exchange of names. See that in the wedding vows, an exchange of names. Am I going to have a new name? Yeah, written on a stone. Oh. And the lesser, you incorporate part of the name. So if you look at England, at a certain point in their history, there were lords and serfs. The lord of the manor, the peasants actually were identified by the name of the lord that they served under. Okay?
The same with the slaves. Yeah.
Same with the slaves here. Yes, they took on the name. They took on the last name of their slave, their master. Okay? So this is a common thing. Okay? And then there is a mingling of blood. It's usually the wrist, not the palm. It can be the palm, like blood brothers. But it's usually the wrist where they'll slit a little mark and they'll have mingling and like blood brothers, the mingling of blood or the dropping of blood into a cup. But God says for us not to do that. So that part we don't partake of until we see Yeshua. And he says, this is my blood. Okay. You think you can sit quiet now? Or you want to stay with me? Okay. They would grasp each other's arm. Like that. Okay? See where the wrists are? It's not the palms.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, sorry. But do you see how, okay, when we grab like that, our wrists were together, not our palms. Okay? Where was his hands pierced? Not in the palm of his hands. Where were they pierced? In the wrist. In the wrist. Okay? Okay. Okay. So by having the animals, there's that oath. Remember last week I had Al and I walked a figure 8, right? Okay, I need to put you down for a minute so I can do something. Who you want to sit with? You want to go sit with Papa? Or you want to sit with Aunt Linda? Okay. All right, here, help me. You help me. You hold this one. And I'll hold this one. And you need to go like this. Can you go like this? Maybe. They're going to go, they're back to back. Do you see them?
Yeah.
Here's their front. They're back to back. And they go like this. And they walk. And they walk. Whoops, that didn't work very well. Okay, let me try here. Let me put you right here for a second. Stand right here next to me. Let me try this. And then I'll let you have them, okay? So they're back to back. And they walk like this. And they come face to face. Does that make sense? They've walked through the blood. Okay? And they're saying, may this happen to me and worse if I break my vow. Oh, that ain't pleasant. Okay. So the animals are a substitution of this is what's going to happen to us if we don't keep our vow. There's always blessings and cursings. Like if I don't do this, and if I call and you don't come, you've not kept, don't pull my earrings, please. Don't pull my earrings. Thank you. If I call or I raise my hand and you don't come to my rescue, you haven't kept the vow, may worse things happen to you. Blessings and curses. What do we have when Moshe comes through with the law? And what do we have when we go to Mount Gerizim and Ebal? Blessings and cursings. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. It's part of the covenant. Okay? So when you read scripture, read these things differently. It's part of the covenant. It's part of the covenant. My house is your house. My son is your son. Sometimes there's an exchange of sons. Do we see that? There's an exchange for Isaac and the ram. There's also an exchange, so let's look at that. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. They walked through it, only Abram didn't walk through it, did he? No, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. But here is what's coming, and there's a substitute. There's the ram for the substitute for Isaac, who is actually a substitute for
Yeshua.
You see it? Okay. Here's who walks through the blood. Let's read. Oh. As for you, you will join your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age. Only in the 4th generation will your descendants come back here, because only then will the Amori be ripe for punishment. After the sun had set, there was thick darkness, a smoking firepot, and a flaming torch. A smoking firepot and a flaming torch. A smoking firepot, no fire, smoke. What's laid on the altar? Incense. What does it do? It smokes before the presence of God.
A sweet aroma.
A sweet aroma. It's the prayers of the saints. It's identifying that God is a smoldering pot. So you have God here. But there's two, because there's also a flaming torch. When the temple is built, the tabernacle is built, and the temple, the presence of God feels like smoke. This is God, presence of God. The flaming torch. I am the light of the world. 2. You can't have fire without oil. It's a lamp. It's a torch. There's oil. There's got to be oil. Who's walking and who's making the covenant? God. In agreement with himself. Which passed between the animal parts. That day Adonai, Yehevavhe, Yahweh, made a covenant with Abram. That day Adonai made a covenant with Abram. The fire and the torch, or the smoldering pot, of smoke and the torch of fire. That has to have a fuel source. Yeshua made the covenant. Yahweh made the covenant. That's what it was all for. Then they also put up, see the stones over here? Because there wasn't an altar. There's no mention of an altar, is there? But when you do a covenant, there's a thing called the stones. You set up a monument of stones. In the Middle East, it's called a standing stone. Didn't we see standing stones when we went to Megiddo? Standing stones. And you didn't just go knock them down because, it's kind of like, going under a ladder. Or like you got these people that are very superstitious about religious things. You don't just knock down a standing stone. That's what it's for. It's a memorial. Every time the children of Israel, when the 2.5 tribes that went back to the land, they built a monument of 12 stones to remind them. They knew why they did it. It wasn't a foreign God. It was to remind them of why and who that they were a part. But the rest of Israel was upset. Who'd you making a standing stone for another God? No. It wasn't for another God. Because you see, in order to have a standing stone, there has to be a covenant. There's shed blood. And there's a covenant. So you're making a covenant with a foreign God. Idolatry. Adultery. Same thing to God. Okay. Or planting a tree. Planting a tree is also a memorial. Okay? So in Israel they plant trees. For you want to plant a tree in the name of one of your loved ones. You're planting a memorial. Why? Because it gives life. It keeps going. It's a memorial. It's a remembrance. Okay. Then they break bread. Who's the bread of life? Yeshua. And his body is bread. And they drink wine. And that's a peace offering. Now the covenant is done and sealed. Okay? And if I'm ever in trouble, I ever need some, you don't even need to tell me. You just go through the gate, come in through the side door, you know where it is, go help yourself. Are we in covenant? I walk in her house. I don't knock. I don't announce I'm there. I just walk in. Do y'all just walk in?
Yeah.
And if the door is locked, you go through the gate. We're in covenant. Practical. We're in covenant. I can just walk into my Father's throne room because the blood has made a way. Because I'm in covenant. I abide. No fancy mumbo jumbo, no smoke, no formula, no I gotta speak the certain words, I gotta do certain things, I gotta do this before I can do that, and maybe while I'm cleaning the toilet. Maybe while I'm making the same meal for the 1700th time. I don't know how many meals have we made in our lifetime. I don't know. I'm sure that's not an exaggeration. You follow what I'm saying? Okay? Everything that we do unto the Lord. Everything that we do. Everything is important. I was led to believe that what I did as a mom was not important. Had no value. Had no worth. It was the most important job in the world.
Yes.
This is the most important. This is why we're here. To train up and to love and to teach and to train and point the way. Okay. So do you see covenant a little bit different, I hope? God is the same. And his doings are the same. And so we can see covenant, we can see law, we can see truth, right? Okay, we can see sacrifice. All right. But nowhere do I see that Abram did something wrong. Nowhere do I see where Abram doubted. Nowhere do I see that they went into Egypt for their punishment. Sometimes, okay, I'm just going to say it personal. Sometimes I have walked through hell for other people. Would you get your crap together, please? Why did I have to do it? Why did I have to suffer?
Because you were willing.
Thank you. Hineni. I trust you. But this momentary light affliction, sometimes our sufferings are not for us. Sometimes the crap we walk through is not for us. I've walked through a lot of crap. I've walked through a lot of hardship. I've walked through a lot of loss. I've walked through a lot of pain, mentally, physically, emotionally, religiously. God hasn't wasted any of it. Nor has my attitude. See, your suffering, your tribulation, your trials, your pain can be wasted on your attitude, by your attitude.
That's where James comes in. Consider it all joy.
I guess we did get back to James after all. God has a purpose, and we either say Hineni and we trust him, or we don't. Either he is God, and like Abraham, he trusted in Adonai. Not in, okay, you got to stop because you're hurting me.
She's sleepy.
I know. You want to stay still right there, okay, because you're grabbing me, and you're grabbing my earring, and it hurts, okay? Okay, I'm sorry. It's not what God has done for me. It's not what God is going to do for me. It's not because He has saved me from things or taught me things. It's because He is God. He's God. And there is no other. He is. And because He is, I have covenant. And if I'm paralyzed by fear, my mind can say, Yeshua, Yeshua, because Yeshua means God is salvation. And even if I'm in the middle of people and I raise my hand to Him, if they're embarrassed, that's on them. I'm not embarrassed. If I'm going to be a fool, Paul says, I'm going to be a fool for my God. I'd rather be a fool in His court than a liar outside. Wouldn't you? Hey, a court jester is kind of fun. That's covenant. That's covenant. And that's what we're grafted into. We're grafted into covenant with the Almighty God, the God who is. So let it be said of us in that Hebrews chapter 11, I believe it is, that faith chapter, it was credited to Him as righteousness. Why? That I believe. What do I believe? You are God. There is no other. You are God, Almighty God, and you're not a man that can lie. You are who you say you are. You do what you say you're going to do. And no matter what, I trust you. And that's where you abide. In the day-to-day, mundane, things that don't seem important. Because that's what we were created to do. To walk on this earth and to live. And there's certain things we have to do. That's part of living. It's part of being human. And they need to be done. Does that make sense? Okay. After the sun had set and there was thick darkness, a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch appeared, which passed between the animal parts. And actually it just says, which passed between the parts. That day, Adonai made a covenant with Abram. I have given this land to your descendants from the Vadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates River, the territory of the Cani, the Kenizi, the Kadmoni, the Hitti, the Prizi, the Rephaim, the Amori, the Kanani, the Gerishi, and the Yevusi. Would you like to know what that is? There it is. Isn't it interesting? Every place where your foot... I know you heard it too. You want to go get your horn? Okay. All right. Instead, we'll just say, Kuma Adonai, arise, O Lord, let your enemies be scattered. Okay? It's a little warm. Didn't God say every place where your foot has tread will be yours? Who tread this land?
Abraham.
Did Abram tread all of it? No, I don't think he went down into the Saudi Arabia. But who did? His descendants. Where is Mount Al-Jaz, or the Mountain of Laws? Is it over here in the Sinai? Or is it out here in the Saudi? Right over here in the Saudi.
Yep.
Children of Israel were there, weren't they? Did they go to Babel? Were they taken captive to Persia? Every place. Did he start up there and the Ur of Chassim up here? Was Noah up in here? Abram and his descendants have traversed this. This is the land God has given them.
Where's Palestine?
Well,
No such place.
thank you, Romans, and thank you, England. No, actually, there is a Palestine, and there's even a what do I want to say? Passports. Sorry, there's passports that say Palestine with Star of David because they're all Jews. Palestine has always been Jewish. From the Romans being derogatory and hateful about it to England wanting to pacify the Arabs, Islam. And that is covenant. Questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
Trying to pacify him.
Huh?
Sure gets us into a lot of troubles over the years.
You know, you don't negotiate with terrorists.
No, ever.
And we still try. We're almost done, baby. Almost done. Okay, stand, please. So this little one can be set free. She's a little warm. Abba, Father, the apple of your eye is being bombarded right now. The rockets and the missiles are firing at the apple of your eye. Let it be known today there is a singular God, that you are the God of Israel, that they cannot touch yours without tasting your wrath. You are a covenant-keeping God. And so, Abba, we remind you, you have covenant. How appropriate today we talk about your covenant. And when our enemy comes, all we have to do is raise our hand, and you come. So, Kuma, arise, O Lord. And let your enemies, because my enemies are your enemies, and Israel's enemies are your enemies, let them be scattered. V'yarekeka Adonai v'yeshmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yihunecha, Yisai Adonai panav elecha v'yihunecha, V'yashem lecha shalom, V'yashem lecha shalom. May the Lord bless and keep you. May his face and his grace shine upon you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace, and give you peace. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Well, Papa said we can go to the park.
He did? Really?
Yeah, in the middle.